Drones, also known as buggers, are unique for two big reasons in Halo. They are one of the only enemies in the game and the series that fly, and two, because they are one of the only intelligent insectoid species amongst the entire Halo galaxy. They were introduced in Halo 2 and was a great addition to the roster of the enemies. Since then, the only other worthy flying enemies have been Watcher and maybe the jetpack units if we even count them, but even them are half as exciting to see and hear the drone's insectoid buzzing and plasma pistol shooting action. So with that being said, today we're going to discuss why and how these enemies should return to Halo 6. Most of us remember that the drones didn't come often even in the original campaigns, but when they did, it became one of the most fun, exciting, but also frustrating and aggravating moments in the campaign, usually coming in the form of a slow build-up to the combat, or in the moments of sudden bursting out in front of your face and taking you over sometimes. Either way, the drones were an old school gaming style enemy that should have never left the games. Swarms of sometimes dozens of these giant bug-like creatures would envelop you in a wall of small arms fire, and it was awesome. The drone's potential never seemed to be fully realized and then utilized for whatever reasons, even in the original games. Maybe the developers didn't have time to fully invest into this unit, or maybe they wanted these units to have a very simple role in the games, such as using them sparingly so they can catch you off guard more, with a greater impact in different environments that set up for such attacks on the player. For all of you guys have gone through the Halo 3 campaign mission, do you remember that Marine in the mission Crow's Nest that was grappled up by a drone near the end of the mission? We've seen the Marines die in 101 different ways, but nothing beats actually seeing them be picked up by a Covenant unit. After the war ended, the drones seemingly just disappeared from existence. What really happened though was that most went back to their homeworld, while some still remained with their factions of the now split Covenant. While a vast number of drones were killed during the war, it seems highly unlikely that they were thinned out to the point to where they just don't show up in this story anymore or the games. The actual amount of drone populations is something that I don't think anyone could really estimate at this point, so the fact that they all disappeared from the story, both the games and the written lore, is a mystery at this point. So if the drones do return, how will it happen? What would their purpose be? Well, let's first take a look at the possible reasons of reintroducing them into Halo 6. Firstly, I think the drones were a great enemy to Halo because it really mixed up the gameplay that sometimes got repetitive of running and shooting, but drones are just naturally good at kind of stirring the pot when it comes to the traditional Halo gameplay. So that's why I think they would do great in the next Halo game, especially with all the Spartan abilities if those also do return in the next big game. A possibility that I also think many of us would find deeply interesting is the idea of visiting either their homeworld of the drones or some other bug-infested planet. I'm sure the story could find a reason to bring us back there. After all, we did go to St. Kilios in Halo 5 Guardians. It would be really cool to see if we visit a hive in Halo 6 or a bug-infested planet, for example, or perhaps even visiting the Banished, or maybe if the Flood returns into Halo 6, then maybe we even see Flood drones. That would be really cool. But imagine having an entire mission or a good chunk of a mission of just on and off swarms of the drones. I think bringing them back in a much more solidified way instead of very sparingly throughout the gameplay would also be a cool thing to happen. And another possibility I think is that a good number of drones actually went into the Banished faction, and since it appears that the Banished Halo Wars 2 story and the post-Halo 5 Guardians story, aka Halo 6, may tie in with one another, then this may actually be the case and we could see drones return under the Banished flag. Using a turret to mow down drone after drone would be excellent. Their limbs and body parts could just fill the ground with green, chunky, almost soup-like substance. Cracking the lone brave or stupid drone that comes at you with a well-placed melee strike, seeing and hearing the crunch of their exoskeleton sounds amazing. Something we haven't seen with the drones yet in Halo is an assassination animation. Something that would be really cool is to see us actually killing these drones. Maybe we could jump up in the air, assassinate them, and we swing onto their body and ride them a little bit while stabbing them and then, bringing them down and slamming them like John Cena. It would be awesome, right? And by the way, guys, if you have any other ideas on how we could kill the drones, then be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. With such large numbers, how is it that we've only seen one type of drone enemy, by the way? I mean, real-life bugs have so many different variations. There's millions of different species here on Earth, so it would only make sense that if the drones do return in Halo 6, that we get different kinds. Worker drones, warrior drones, giant queen drones even, perhaps us going into a hive and slaughtering a queen, and just bringing us into that weird, buggy kind of like environment, such as in a hive or some kind of planet that is infested with these drones or bugs, would be a really cool experience and a step in the sci-fi universe we haven't seen yet for Halo. The drones, in my opinion, are original. I think that they are what made Halo a unique, diverse world in the original trilogy, and getting rid of them is something that I think should be avoided in the future. But only those at 343 truly know the bugger's fate. Do you guys want a swarm to return in Halo 6? If so, let us know down in the comment section below, and how do you think they'll be incorporated into the game and story if they do return?